Hey guys, Crypto Dad here again, and today I'm going to show you how to install, set up, and use the MetaMask wallet. I've done some videos on using MetaMask wallet in the past, but the interface has changed considerably since I dropped those videos, so I'm going to give you the full setup walkthrough today with all of the latest features that are in today's MetaMask wallet. I'm going to show you how to set up the basic version of MetaMask, which is a hot wallet. When you just install MetaMask and then set it up and write down your 12-word backup phrase, you've created a hot wallet where the private key is exposed to the internet. It lives on your computer and is vulnerable to hackers. But if you keep your computer in good working order and you make sure you don't have any viruses or malware, this is a relatively safe way to use MetaMask. And if you're on a budget, it's completely free. But what I really want to show you how to do is how to connect a hardware wallet to MetaMask, making MetaMask basically a cold wallet. The private key for that MetaMask account will be stored on your hardware device, and only authorizations from the hardware device will allow you to perform operations in MetaMask. So that is my preferred method. Now, you can maintain all of these wallets at the same time. You can have a standalone account, and you can have an account that's based on a hardware device, and you can create multiple standalone accounts, and you can connect multiple hardware devices to your MetaMask wallet. So it's a very powerful and versatile wallet. It is based on the EVM chain, which stands for Ethereum Virtual Machine. And so, of course, MetaMask supports the Ethereum network. You can use it to hold your Ethereum. You can use it to hold Ethereum tokens or ERC20 tokens. And you can do operations like staking, swapping, providing liquidity, claiming airdrops, or minting NFTs. All of that is possible in MetaMask using the Ethereum network. But MetaMask also supports the alternate EVM networks like Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Arbitrum, Optimism, and a whole host of other networks. So I'll show you how to set up those networks, toggle them off and on, and switch between them. So without further ado, let's jump in and I'll show you how to set up MetaMask. All right, so I'm on the MetaMask homepage. You want to make sure that you're on the official MetaMask website. That's metamask.io. There are a lot of fake MetaMask sites out there, so you want to make sure you're on the official MetaMask site. MetaMask runs as an extension in your browser. You can use it over in the corner, or you can make it a full tab in your browser as well. But it basically runs as an extension. So we'll start with Get MetaMask. All right, and what they want me to do is add this to Chrome, so I'll do that. We'll go ahead and add the extension. All right, and now as you can see, it's taken up a browser tab here for us. But if you click over on in the extensions, you can see that you have MetaMask as an extension. You might want to pin it and just leave it there where it's convenient for you to get to. But we'll get the startup going here in the browser. You'll want a piece of paper and a pen so that you can write down your backup phrase. This is very important if something were to happen to your browser or your computer and MetaMask gets wiped. You'll be able to recover your wallet with your backup phrase. So we'll choose Get Started here. We'll agree to the terms. We need to read them all. Now, if I just mentioned that if something happens to your computer or your browser and you needed to recover, you would do that here. I have an existing wallet, and it would ask you to input your recovery phrase. But we're doing this for the first time, so we'll say Create New Wallet. Now, you can also tie MetaMask to a Google account or an Apple account. and that way you could use those accounts to re-access your wallet. I'm going to do things the old-fashioned way and write down a recovery phrase here. It's going to ask us to create a password. All right, now it's very important to remember this password. If you can't remember this password, MetaMask is not going to be able to help you reset it. This is a local password, and you're responsible for it. Now, if you do forget the password, you can use the restore process to regain access to your crypto assets. But that's pretty long and involved and nerve-wracking. So it's better, it would be much better if you just make sure you don't forget your password. So we'll acknowledge that. We'll create the password. Now they want us to secure the wallet. Now you can skip this part, but I don't recommend it. It's going to keep nagging you to do this, so you might want to just get it done in the beginning. So we'll click Get Started here, and then we're going to write down this recovery phrase. You want to write it down on a piece of paper, number it, because the order is very important. Tap to reveal. It's going to show you the words. Notice that they are numbered. You want to make sure you write these down in order and number them on your piece of paper. All right, and once you've written those down, you'll hit continue, and then it wants you to fill in 3 of those 12 words in the proper slot. So you'll refer to your sheet, write down the words that you have on your sheet. Actually, you don't even have to write them in anymore. This is a new feature. They're just giving you 3 choices down here. So just click the word that you have written down on your paper in the number 5 slot. All right, and then the number 7 slot, choose that one, and then the number 9 slot, and then now we're good to go. Now it may ask you to fill in different words in the list, but those are the ones it asked me for. So we'll hit continue here. You can opt into their data collection. This is totally anonymous, but if you'd rather they not collect data, you can just say no thanks. All right, and so we finished with the wallet. I've never seen this before. So it looks like there are some settings that you could adjust right from the get-go. You will always be able to get into these later if you want. So there's some basic functionality that you can toggle on and off. These, as I mentioned, it supports different networks. These are the default networks. And so we could add extra networks here if we wanted to. So let's say we wanted to do Optimism or something like that. We could enter that network information here. All right. Oh, and then here they've given us some defaults that are already in there, so you don't have to enter the settings manually. So maybe just add a few that you think you might want to add. Like maybe Polygon. Or OP. Right, so you can just add as many networks as you think you might want to use. If you don't know what I'm doing, then ignore this. If you're familiar with using these alternate networks, then you can see now they're much easier to access from the beginning of the setup. I like to leave these at their defaults where it can auto-detect new tokens that you may transfer into the wallet. So, but you can adjust these any way you like. And then for security, we've got some smart contract settings. They're trying to improve the readability of the data when you're dealing with smart contracts. So I would advise leaving this on too to make the transaction information more clear, and proposed nicknames is fine too. So that's kind of nice that they've got all that stuff at the beginning. We'll hit done here. And done one more time, and that is your very first wallet. Notice here that this is the account information. I don't know how that one got in there, but I guess it did. And now it supports Solana. Okay, so that's kind of nice. So you could switch between accounts here. So they've created an empty default Solana wallet. Kind of interesting. That's a new thing. So it supports more than EVM now. It supports Solana as well. So that's kind of cool. Let's go back to this very first account, and you can see that since I toggled all those networks on, that it shows the different Ethereum, the base Ethereum account of these three different networks. Some networks have their own base token, like for example Polygon. Polygon has its own base token. So let's tick these on just so I can show you. See, Polygon has its own base token. Binance Chain, or BNB, has its own token. And then Optimism also has an Ethereum-based token. Now, note also that each of these Ethereum tokens is different, right? If you withdraw Ethereum on the main Ethereum network, you'll see it in this account. If you use the base network, you'll see your Ethereum in this account. It'll just be a different, it'll be Ethereum, but on a different network. So like I said, if you don't understand all this network stuff, you can just work with Ethereum if you want to. That's what a lot of people do. All right, and so up here we can switch between back and forth between accounts. We could even add an additional account here if we want. We can add a new account and name it whatever we want. And so now I've got two different accounts that I can switch between. All right. But you can see how you can manage multiple accounts. It's pretty nice. This might be helpful. Let's say you have one account that's got a lot in it, and then you don't want to put at risk. You could use this other account for doing more risky stuff and just put enough in there for, say, a trade, or just enough to pay the gas fees for claiming an NFT or claiming an airdrop. Those kind of things are a little bit sketchy. They can be if you have ended up on the wrong website using your MetaMask wallet. So it might be helpful to sort of section off your holdings. I would like to show you now how to connect a hardware device to your MetaMask wallet. So I have a Ledger Stax here. You can use a Ledger Stax, a Ledger Flex, a Ledger Nano X, or a Ledger Nano S Plus. They all work with MetaMask. And there are a few other hardware wallets. I believe MetaMask supports Trezors and the Keystone air-gapped wallets. But I'm just going to show you how to use a ledger. So you'll connect your device to your computer, and then you'll enter your PIN and unlock it. So when you're using MetaMask, you'll need to be in the Ethereum app. You'll notice that I have the Ethereum app installed on my device. If you don't have the Ethereum app on your device yet, then you'll need to go to Ledger Live. Go over to the My Ledger section. Allow your secure connection. All right, and then make sure that you have the Ethereum app installed. If you don't, just search for it. You'll see it there. I've already got it installed, but if you don't have it installed, you'll see the install button. You'll just install it on your device. Make sure you have the Ethereum app installed in your device. If you've just bought your device, you're doing this for the first time. Of course, I already have an Ethereum account on my device, and it already has some holdings in it as well. So what we're going to do is connect this device to our MetaMask wallet, and it's going to create a brand new account for us. So I tap the Ethereum app, and so now I'm running the Ethereum app. We'll go back up to the Accounts tab here, and this time when we hit Account or Wallet, we're going to choose Hardware Wallet, because we're going to add a hardware wallet here. So we'll hit Hardware Wallet, and these are the choices here. We've got Ledger and Trezor. Those are the big ones, and then I've never used Lattice before, and a QR-based wallet would be like an air-gapped wallet, like an Ellipal or a Keystone. All right, so I'm going to choose Ledger. All right, and they're just letting me know that I can only have one device attached to my computer at the same time when I'm adding new accounts. So we'll click Continue here. And I'm going to go up here. Now, sometimes you won't see this because your browser has pop-ups blocked. So if you're using MetaMask and you're connecting a hardware device, make sure that you don't have your pop-ups blocked in your browser. So we click right there, and then we'll hit continue or connect. All right, now it's showing me the available addresses on my hardware device. Generally, you'll want to choose the first one. You can use extra ones, but it makes it much easier when you use the first default account. And if you already have some Ethereum tokens using your Ledger Live, then they will most likely be in that first slot, the first address that comes up. If you've got multiple Ethereum accounts in your Ledger Live, then you can just tick them off here. All right, so I'll choose this first one and I'll click unlock. And it immediately notices that I have several assets already in this account. You'll also notice that all of the networks that I ticked off earlier are being shown here. So you can see that I have some Ethereum-based Ethereum, right? And then I have an Ethereum token here. This Ondo Finance is an Ethereum token. It has the little Ethereum icon here. Mantle is also an Ethereum token or an ERC20 token. And then you can also see that I have some Ethereum on the Base network. So there's the little Base icon there. And I have a Wallet Connect token, which is on the Optimism network. So there's a little Optimism icon down there. And so we can manage a whole bunch of different tokens on different networks in MetaMask. Now, you might want to just say, you know what, I don't want to see all these other networks. I just want to see my Ethereum. So you can untick those and just look at the Ethereum tokens. In the same way, you could also say, hey, look, I just want to manage my Optimism token. So I'll click the Optimism, turn off Ethereum, right? And now I'm just looking at the tokens that I'm managing on the Optimism network. So you can fine tune what you see and don't see, right? And under here, we'll just put Ethereum and Base back on there. Oh, and another thing I should point out is that many people ask me that have an existing MetaMask hot wallet, like say you have a whole bunch of tokens in account one. They ask me when I connect my Ledger device, does that automatically protect my standalone account? And the answer is no. The only account that the Ledger device is protecting by holding the private key on the device is this account, the one that says Ledger and is connected to my Ledger device. This account over here is still a hot wallet. Even though we attached our device on one of the accounts, that device is not protecting these other accounts. These other accounts remain hot wallets. So if you're concerned about using a hot wallet and you have a bunch of assets in your MetaMask wallet, then you will need to transfer them. And that's not that difficult either. If you go up here and you say you want to send, they're going to show you the accounts that you have available, and you'll be able to send, like say I want to send from account one to Ledger. And it's going to tell me right now there's nothing in the account to send, but that's fine, right? I'll show you how to do a transfer in a few minutes. All right, so I'll show you how to connect another device. So I've got this other Ledger device, this Ledger Flex. So I'll disconnect my Ledger Stax. I'll connect my Ledger Flex. I'll enter my PIN. All right, now that I've entered the PIN, I want to make sure I'm in the Ethereum app. So we tap the Ethereum icon. We're in the Ethereum app. We'll go back up here to account. We'll choose add account or wallet. We'll choose hardware wallet. We'll choose ledger again because this is a ledger device. We'll hit continue. We'll connect it through the browser interface. We'll hit connect. All right, and then I'm just going to tick off 2 of these because I know I have balances in both of these. We'll hit unlock. All right, and now I've got several ledger accounts. So if we pull this down, you can see under the ledger heading, I'm managing 3 different ledger accounts. Now it is a little confusing because 2 of these accounts are on one of my ledgers. So you can name your accounts accordingly. So I can go over here to ledger 2 and account details, and then I can edit this name. I can call this one ledger flex. And then number 1 account. Right, and then I can go to this account. I will go to account details, and then I can edit the name here. Ledger flex 2. Right, and then I can also go back to that first one and just make that name a little more precise by calling this one ledger Stax. All right, and now it'll be easy for me to know which device I'm dealing with by seeing the name up here. So we can switch to the ledger Stax. We can switch back to the ledger flex, back and forth. Pretty easy. Now, if you're starting with just an empty wallet, and let's say we're just keeping things simple, and you want to fund this wallet, then you can go to the token marketplace and purchase some cryptocurrency. Well, they can connect you to some third-party services where you can make purchases. You can also transfer crypto from a different location to your MetaMask wallet. I could move from a different wallet to this wallet, or I could purchase some tokens on Coinbase or Gemini or Kraken and transfer them here. I can also connect to centralized exchanges. They have Coinbase or Binance here. So if you have a Coinbase account or a Binance account, you can connect your MetaMask wallet directly and transfer crypto in without transfer fees. That's pretty nice. The token marketplace is going to take you to some third parties. All right. Notice that they're connecting you to providers. You're not buying anything from MetaMask itself. MetaMask is just the wallet. We'll get started here. Let's just say I wanted to purchase $100 worth of Ethereum. You can pull this down. There are other tokens that are available if you want, but let's start with Ethereum. And then you've got several services that you could use. So you've got Revolt Pay, we've got Venmo, PayPal, bank transfer, instant, or just a ACH, a basic ACH. So you can connect your bank account directly to MetaMask. You can use your PayPal account or your Venmo account. So it's pretty nice now. The nice thing about purchasing this way is that it's integrated into the wallet interface. So the purchases will go straight into your wallet. There won't be any ambiguity. But you might want to be aware of whatever fees they're charging for these services. So it'll be entirely up to you what you feel most comfortable with. Some people might not be comfortable transferring or connecting their bank account directly to MetaMask. They feel more comfortable with something like PayPal or Venmo. You could also just use your debit card if you want to do it that way. So a lot of options there. The same goes with sell. If you had Ethereum that you wanted to sell, you could sell it here. Notice that this is dim, and that's because I haven't really connected the MetaMask wallet. It looks like I'm in the MetaMask wallet. It says MetaMask over here, but I haven't actually connected the wallet directly to this third-party purchasing site. So in order to do that, we'd hit Connect Wallet, and then we would just connect. Right? Notice it will allow you to connect the active account. That's the account that I'm using at the moment. So if you remember, I was in account 1. Let's say I was in my Ledger Flex 2 account, and then I went to this buy sell. When I clicked Connect MetaMask, then it wants to connect to my Ledger Flex account. So I'll hit Connect here. So now you can see this is active, and there is an Ethereum balance in the wallet already. So if I wanted to say sell some of that Ethereum, so I could hit 25% here, I could sell the Ethereum using one of these third parties. Notice that they've got a couple of different options here. I could sell onto my debit card, or it would go directly into my bank account. As an instant transfer or as the ACH. Of course, the instant transfer has higher fees, right? But those are built into MetaMask. You can also just transfer. If I wanted to simply fund a blank wallet or an empty wallet, I would choose receive, and then I would just copy the address into my clipboard. That is the Ethereum address of my MetaMask wallet. So this is an address on the Ethereum blockchain, so I could send Ethereum from anywhere into this address. So I could go to my Coinbase account. So I have some Ethereum in my Coinbase account, just a small test amount. So if I wanted to send that to my MetaMask wallet, you saw that I have that address in my clipboard. Just go back here and choose Manage Funds. Withdraw Crypto. I'll paste in the address from my MetaMask wallet, and then I'll confirm that and choose the Ethereum network. Notice I can withdraw on these alternate networks that have cheaper fees. I'll just stick with Ethereum now, but you can see how MetaMask supports all these other networks as well. So I'll choose Ethereum. I'll go ahead and send the max because it's just a small test. And we'll hit send now. And we're done. And going back to MetaMask, we can just wait. We can even refresh our browser. All right, and you can see that the Ethereum that I withdrew from Coinbase is now in my MetaMask wallet. So once I have funds in the wallet, I can do all kinds of interesting things like maybe swap. I have some Ethereum in here. Right, and I could purchase another token here. If we click here, we can choose all these different Ethereum tokens. Notice that since I'm on the Ethereum network, that all of these tokens are Ethereum-based tokens. Like, for example, Pepe. Oh, okay. So, yeah, I'm going to have a pretty high network fee for trading on the Ethereum network. So you want to always keep an eye on these network fees. These are gas fees. This is not MetaMask charging you. This is the Ethereum blockchain's network or gas fees that are being added here. So always keep an eye on those. Of course, I was lucky because it just told me it couldn't do it. But if you've got a lot of Ethereum and you're making a big swap, always make sure that you're aware of what the network fee is going to be. A lot of people have lost a lot of money just ignoring their network fees. All right, but what I would like to do is just show you how to transfer between wallets here. I'm going to take this Ethereum and move it over into one of my other accounts. So we'll just go to send from account 1. And then we're going to go to, say, the Ledger Flex 2. All right. And it tells me the balance in Ethereum in this account. I'm going to choose max. I'm just going to send all that Ethereum over to my Ledger Flex 2. And it shows me how much is coming in, right? So I'll hit continue. MetaMask is going to ask me to confirm here. I'll click confirm. And the transaction was submitted. Notice that all I had to do was click confirm. There was no verification on the hardware device because this account is not connected to a hardware device. We can go to view activity and it'll show us that we've sent the Ethereum out of this wallet. So if I go back to the Ledger Flex 2 account, then you can see that the Ethereum came in. There's an earlier transaction from a couple days ago, but it shows you that the Ethereum came in. So that's how you transfer from one wallet to another. Now I'd like to take some of that Ethereum. I've got a pretty high Ethereum balance now. Now if I go to tokens here, you can see that that balance at the top is not just Ethereum. It includes some of these other tokens that I've purchased in the past. Right? So this balance that you see up here is a total balance of all of your Ethereum and the Ethereum subtokens. Now, if I activate some of these other networks, like say the base network, now you'll notice my balance goes up and there's other tokens in here that it can see and add to my total as well. So I'll just disable that so we can keep it simple. So the only thing I'm seeing now are Ethereum and Ethereum-based tokens in my total balance. Now I'd like to show you how you authorize on a device using MetaMask. So I'm going to send some Ethereum back to my Coinbase account. Actually, I'll try something different. I'll just go ahead and send it back to my Kraken account. So I want to reinforce the idea that crypto is universal. As long as the platform you're working with supports the chain, and most exchanges support Ethereum, it's a no-brainer, right? So when I can move my crypto from anywhere back to anywhere. I get some people, I've had some questions in the past where someone said, if I bought my Ethereum on Coinbase, do I have to send it back to Coinbase to cash out? The answer is no. You can send it anywhere to cash out. So we'll hit deposit in my Kraken account. We'll tell them we want to put some Ethereum in because that's what we're transferring from MetaMask. It'll be on the Ethereum network. And then it gives us the address, right? So I'll copy the address into my clipboard. I'll go back to my MetaMask wallet. And then I'll go back to send. Now, when I click send, because there's more than one token, it's going to ask me which token to send, right? Because I have more than one token, I can click this pull down and send any of these Ethereum-based tokens. You might want to be careful because like this particular token, I bought it several years back. It's kind of obscure. It may not be supported on the exchange that I'm sending to. The only thing I checked was that they're going to allow Ethereum. So I'm going to stick with Ethereum, but I did want to make you aware that when you see the pull down, you could choose other tokens on that same network. All right, so I'm not going to send the max. That would be a lot. I'm just going to send a smaller amount, like 0.002. It's not very much at all, but let's see what our network fees are going to be for sending such a small amount. So we'll click continue. And notice that the network fee for this send is not that much. It's just about a quarter to 29 cents. I'm willing to do that. You may not be on a $9 balance, but I'm just going to do it for the sake of the demonstration. Transfer fees are generally going to be cheaper than your swap fees, right? But always keep an eye on what your network fees are when you're doing transfers. All right, and it's giving me some instructions here. It's telling me, hey, the device needs to be plugged in, and I need to have contract or blind signing enabled on my ledger. So let's make sure we've got all of that. So I'll go into the settings. I'm in the Ethereum app. That's good. I'll go into the settings, which is up here, this little gear shift icon. Right, and I don't have blind signing enabled. So if MetaMask requires that, so I'm going to enable blind signing. All right, you just toggle that on, and then we can back out to the main section here. We've got everything we need to do this transfer. So we'll hit confirm. Right, now the device is asking me to authorize the transaction. This is the security of having your private key managed by a device like this. Nothing can go out of the wallet unless you authorize on the device. So I'm going to authorize. I'll just swipe. Right, it gives me the information about the transfer I'm about to do. The destination and the fees. And the last step is hold to sign. So we'll hold to sign, and off it goes. And now the transfer is pending, and it's all the way gone, right? Out of the wallet. We'll go to Kraken and just kind of monitor our account until we get that Ethereum. So I showed you how to set up the MetaMask wallet in your browser, how to write down your seed phrase, how to manage accounts and switch between them, how to connect hardware devices. I showed you a few ways you can fund your wallet. I also showed you some pretty basic stuff about doing swaps and sends and some things to remember about that. There is a whole host of other things that you can do with MetaMask. There are a lot of independent websites that you can go to where you would connect your MetaMask wallet. Like, for example, Uniswap is a site where you can connect your MetaMask wallet. See the connect up here? And this is an above board website where you can connect your MetaMask wallet and do swaps and trades and liquidity and stuff like that. This is a mainstream site, but you have to be really careful what sites you connect your MetaMask wallet to. There are a lot of malicious websites out there where you could accidentally confirm a malicious transaction and get your wallet drained. So you have to be very careful what sites you connect your MetaMask wallet to as well. Also, I should point out that you'll notice that I have one wallet with a relatively high balance, and then I have another device that's got two different accounts on it. If I were going to go to a sketchy website or, because I want to claim an airdrop or mint an NFT or do a swap for a token that I really want, you would be better off using your low balance accounts. So the Ledger Flex account with this low balance would be better to do my swaps and trades with, because they are siloed, right? So if I approve a malicious transaction using this account with this device, it's not going to be able to drain this other account, right? The malicious contract can only steal funds from the account that you've actually approved the malicious contract on. So if you're going to be doing risky stuff, for a quick thrill or a quick profit, I would use the lower balance accounts and just put enough in there for your the operation that you're trying to do. And then you could transfer between accounts very easily. Like I could transfer from Flex 1 to Flex 2. You saw me do a transfer earlier doing that, right? We can transfer between the accounts. So keep that in mind also when you're out there doing Web3. If you have any questions about anything I said, please throw them up in the comments and I'll do my best to get them answered.